Hi, this is Ela, and I am going to do a little experiment with a few different watercolor papers. I'm going to see which ones are most prone to lifting. And by this, I mean when I get them an area that I painted previously and let it dry, will the paint dissolve when I get it wet again? And a lot of people want papers to lift. Some people consider it to be a desirable thing because it means, I guess, mostly because if you want to get back to the white of the paper, you can. And I think there's also this idea of, oh, we can fix a mistake. Although honestly, the way I paint, that's not really a property that I value. I would much rather be able to glaze. I would much rather be able to paint colors on top of other colors and have the first layer stay. So I don't fully understand why you would want a color that lifts, a paper that will let you lift. So this first paper I'm going to do, this is a rough press Arches watercolor paper. It has a lot of texture, and I'm just going to put some ultramarine blue on a few of these different colors. And as you can see, there's the orange, and then there's the blue on top. And the orange isn't really, it moves a tiny bit, but not very much. It's mostly staying put. And of course, where it's lighter, it's more diluted and it's going to lift much less versus where it's really concentrated over here. You can also try just going straight with some water. And you can see it's not really moving very much. You can get a little tiny bit of an orange shadow, but it doesn't really want to move. If I really, really wanted to lift that color, I could use like a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. It wants to stay. And that's what I like. So if I wanted to paint a shadow, like I painted a shadow here, I added a shadow over here, I think after the fact. It means that I can build those different layers. So this second one I'm going to try is Fabriano Artistico, and I think on the back it says that you can lift with it. I did some swatches over here. These are similar colors to the colors I had on this first sheet. I think it's the same brand. These are all Van Gogh brand. So, not on the orange, but well, maybe we'll do all three. Looks like this magenta is lifting a bit. The brown is not lifting quite as much. Oh, it lifts a little bit. If I go back and forth, it lifts. Let's try the blue. If I did like a single stroke and I didn't work it too hard, it stays. But if I scrub, it will dissolve. Okay, good to know. So this one lifts more, but it's not as ridiculous as some colors that I've used, but it will lift. Now this is the last one, Stonehenge. I've got my little tiny pad here. Whoop. And you can see I've got these colors again. And I've had students complain about this one lifting a lot. So let's see. If I do one stroke, does it lift? If I do one stroke, it's not too bad. It seems like the pink likes to lift the most. Yeah, that like completely lifted. The orange is a little better. The brown is definitely dissolving, but that pink does not stay put at all. Let's try the orange. Whenever you're not sure about something, just, treat it like an experiment. Oh, see, that brown is going all the way across when I pull it. So I think my conclusion is, if you want to glaze with either of these papers, if you want to put a second color on top of the first color that dried, you really have to be careful not to scrub the brush back and forth. You have to be really tentative. You put it on, you mess with it as little as possible, because otherwise, look at that. That completely came up. This stays put a little bit better, but it's also orange on orange. Yeah, it's staying put better. So some colors lift more than others. That brown is definitely lifting. Look at that. Let's see if I really work on that. Yeah, that's lifting. That's staying put a little bit better. But yeah, that lifted. So there we go. But when I work on this guy, you know, still not moving. Still mostly there. It doesn't really come up. All right, the orange is coming up a little. Still, it's holding it much better than these guys. These guys are just coming off completely. These want to stay much more. All right, well, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this.